In recent weeks, Australia has been shaken by the revelation that the Islamic Republic of Iran was directly involved in anti-Semitic arson attacks on its soil. These were not isolated incidents, nor acts of random hate, but carefully orchestrated operations directed by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. The attacks targeted Jewish institutions and communities, striking at the heart of Australia's multicultural fabric. The discovery has prompted one of the most serious diplomatic crises between Canberra and Tehran in decades. How it started. The story begins in October 2024, when a fire ripped through Lewis Continental Kitchen, a kosher café in Bondi, Sydney. The attack shocked the local Jewish community, but at first, investigators treated it as a possible hate crime with unknown perpetrators. Just 2 months later, in December 2024, another attack occurred, this time far more brazen. The ADAS Israel Synagogue in Melbourne was firebombed, causing significant damage to the building. These two incidents set off alarm bells within Australia's security agencies. Investigation. The Australian Security Intelligence Organisation, ASIO, launched a sweeping investigation. At first, investigators believed the culprits might have been local extremists. But slowly, a darker picture emerged. Through surveillance, financial tracing, and intelligence sharing with partner nations, ASIO uncovered a web of connections leading back to Iran's IRGC. Evidence showed that intermediaries and cutouts had been used to distance the attacks from Tehran, but ultimately the orders and funding originated with Iran. Australia goes public. On August 26, 2025, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese addressed the nation. He confirmed what many had feared, that a foreign government had deliberately targeted Australian Jewish communities in an attempt to sow fear and division. The Prime Minister called the attacks extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression orchestrated by a foreign nation on Australian soil. This was more than terrorism. It was state-sponsored sabotage of social harmony. Diplomatic failure. The Australian government moved swiftly. It expelled Iranian Ambassador Ahmad Sadeghi along with 3 other Iranian officials, giving them just 7 days to leave the country. Australia also suspended its embassy in Tehran, relocating its diplomats to a third nation. Most significantly, the government announced legislation to formally designate the IRGC as a terrorist organization, bringing Australia in line with several Western allies. Community response. For Australia's Jewish community, the revelations brought both relief and renewed anxiety. Relief that the government had identified the perpetrators and acted decisively, but also anxiety, knowing that their institutions had been targeted by a foreign power with vast global reach. Leaders of the Executive Council of Australian Jewry praised the government's decisive response. Former hostage Kylie Moore-Gilbert, who had once been imprisoned in Iran, also supported the measures, warning Australians not to underestimate Tehran's ambitions. Iran's PLAVOK. Experts note that Iran's actions in Australia fit into a broader pattern. The IRGC has long used proxy networks and covert operatives to strike Jewish and Western targets across the globe. These operations are designed to intimidate, spread fear, and signal Tehran's willingness to act far beyond its borders. Analysts say the Australian attacks show that Iran is expanding its playbook into regions once considered out of reach. Current situation. As of now, Australia's security services remain on high alert. ASIO has confirmed that other anti-Semitic incidents are under investigation for possible Iranian links. Canberra has rallied support from allies, with intelligence sharing intensifying across the Five Eyes network. While Iran has not yet issued a full response, its relationship with Australia is at its lowest point in decades. What began as 2 mysterious arson attacks has now escalated into a diplomatic confrontation with profound national security implications. Conclusion. This saga illustrates a sobering truth. Australia is not immune to the geopolitical rivalries that play out across the Middle East and beyond. The IRGC's attacks were meant to divide Australians, to terrorize a small community, and to test the nation's resilience. But instead, they have united political leaders, sharpened the resolve of intelligence agencies, and strengthened bonds with international allies. For Australia, this is not the end of the story, but a reminder that the defense of democracy and social harmony must remain vigilant, at home as much as abroad.